Welcome to No Flipping Excuses with Jason Lucchese. Jason Lucchese was the guy voted least likely to succeed by his high school peers. Today, Jason's a real estate flipping ninja Jedi Knight assassin who's taken his drive, street smarts, and never give up attitude and converted them into a real estate flipping business and freedom-based lifestyle. Here to share the truth about flipping houses, finding sellers, delivering buyers, real estate investing without the reality show hype, and all-around general business badassery. Your host, Krav Maga enthusiast, husband, and father of three, Jason Lucchese.
Hey there, what's up? It's Jason Lucchese with the No Flipping Excuses Show. I'm so excited that you're here with us right here, right now. I've got a really good friend that's joining me today that's going to just blow your socks off with the information that we're going to be sharing. But before I make that introduction to him, I just want to say thanks for our returning subscribers. You guys are awesome. You rock. If this is your first time being to the No Flipping Excuses Show, make sure you listen to this whole episode from start to finish and then become a subscriber. Also, leave us a 5-star review. That will help us out tremendously, but in return, it's going to help you out because we're going to continue to make awesome shows just like this one. So without further ado, let me go ahead and introduce my good friend that I've known for quite a while now, Mr. Greg Herlean with Horizon Trust. Greg, how are you doing today, my man?
Good. Thanks, Jason. Glad to be here. Thanks again. And it's happy to be here.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Well, Greg and I first met, we were in a really cool mastermind together called War Room, and we were able to meet each other, and from there it just kind of sparked a good relationship that has, really kind of blossomed, and we've been able to send quite a few people over to Horizon Trust to do a lot of their retirement stuff with, to do a lot of their investing with. And Greg's put together a really, really great company over there with Horizon Trust. And I wanted him to come on today to kind of talk to you guys about the advantages of really using a self-directed IRA. Greg's been doing this for a very, very long time. Successful real estate investor himself. He's done residential, commercial. He's done flipped hotels. The guy's doing some crazy, crazy awesome stuff. So Greg, tell some of the folks that really don't know a whole lot about you, just like a background about yourself.
Yeah, thanks, Jason. Real quick, my dad was in the Air Force and wasn't raised with money. He wasn't doing real estate by any means. Didn't see him very often. And so as I was finishing up in the middle of college, I was like noticing, how do I kind of live the life, whatever that, like I'd see it on TV or people whatnot living, home during the day. But I was like, how do I do that? And so long story short, people were doing real estate. And the problem that I found when I wanted to be involved in real estate at the time was I didn't have any money. Banks weren't going to lend me money, didn't have money. And I was like, okay, so how am I going to start doing these deals? And so my first deal, my first 4 deals, I learned about this concept that we're talking about here today, which is I learned that a self-directed IRA, an individual basically that has an IRA, a retirement plan, could lend their money to me, who had no money, could go find the project, flip the project, manage the whole thing and flip it, and then give back a percentage of the profits or interest rate to someone that lent me the money with their IRA. And I thought this was like the greatest thing since sliced bread. In fact, I was like, this was phenomenal. All of a sudden, I found money. In fact, I learned very quickly that there's over 80 million IRA account holders in the United States,
wow,
which in my mind, that's over $4.7 trillion. I was thinking, I now found a money source.
Oh yeah.
Right. And real estate, finding money is like half the battle. I don't care what you say, but sometimes it's more than half the battle until you've done about 20 of them. Once you've done 20, money comes a little bit quicker. But what I learned out there is there was something that the IRS has approved over 40 years ago. I would call it a loophole, but really it's just regulation that allows individuals to use their retirement funds or other people's retirement funds to be in the real estate game. And that was a life changer for me. And so my background actually was just, I wanted to be in real estate, didn't have money, was finding deals, learned about this concept of self-directing. And I actually just became a client of Self Directing, and then I'd find other people to self direct to be partners with me. And so I guess my long intro to who I am, I little by little became very good at real estate using IRAs, but then I became an IRA expert. That's actually where I spend 75% of my time now, and I still spend time on real estate. But over the course of many years, I've, like I flipped 10 hotels, still own 2. I've flipped many commercial projects, thousands of apartment doors, over 700 homes, and all using pretty much the self-directed concept. And so I've now just seen many, many people doing it. Now that I've made a decent amount of money, I now focus using my money in my self-directed account, lending. I love to lend now. And so it's my primary focus in real estate. Now I'm like the other side of it. Before I was the guy borrowing. Now I'm the guy lending. And so it's a good place to be. But I'll tell you what, my passion is teaching people about this concept, because it truly will change the way you make money. In fact, people can use this concept and not pay taxes. So I'll stop, because I just went over a lot there, Jason, but that's a little bit about me. And I got to say, I've got 4 kids. That's super important to me. That is my number one. I got a 15-year-old, 13, 11, and 8. I know you're a family guy too. And so my 15-year-old is officially taller than me. He's 6'3".
Oh yeah, I saw that picture on Facebook, man. And you're a tall guy, aren't you?
I'm 6'2" almost, and he's about an inch taller than me. So,
man.
So I feel a lot older now. But anyways, that's a little bit about me.
Man, that's crazy. Well, luckily mine are still a little young, because I definitely think they're going to surpass me. I think I'm right around the same height as you. I'm like 6'2". But man, these kids, they're already starting to get tall. I'm going to get lapped here soon in a second. It goes like in the blink of an eye. But no, I'm glad you're here with us, man, because a lot of the folks out here, they don't understand, like, you can be doing like some of the things that I even recommend for brand new investors. And we'll get into a bunch of stuff here in just a second, but even for brand new investors, Greg, like, I always recommend open up a self-directed IRA account. And you guys have some phenomenal things that you guys can do at Horizon Trust for getting people set up with their account. But if you don't have a ton of money to put in there, at least put like $500,000 in there, get your account started. And then you could start doing some really great things to grow your account. Some of the things that I recommend is every 5th deal that you maybe wholesale, use your self-directed IRA account. And you could probably talk on this a little bit more, Greg, but imagine if I had $100 and I put that down as my earnest money deposit from my self-directed IRA account, and everything's now going through the self-directed IRA account. What's going to happen at the end of the day is once that deal closes and I wholesale it, which means I could do an A to B, B to C transaction, whatever is made from a profit standpoint. Say I make $15,000 net profit. Well, that $100 I initially used for my self-directed IRA, now $15,100 is going into my self-directed IRA account. And correct me if I'm wrong, Greg, but that's all going to be tax-free money, correct?
That's right. And so, I mean, that is the single quickest way of really turning your $1,000 IRA into a $10,000 IRA and not paying taxes. I mean, so many individuals I meet, if you already have an IRA or an old 401k, you need to self-direct a portion of it, if not all of it. You got to do it. And so, and we'll do, we'll talk about this probably later, but my staff will do a one-on-one consultation to talk to you why that's important for you, or at least some part of your funds. But you nailed it right on there. I mean, there's so many people that start saving their retirement until it's too late in the game.
Yeah.
Start now. I don't care if you have high credit card debt, or if you still want to like get married and save money for the ring and the wed, all those. Start your retirement account now. I assure you, 5 years from now, you'll be thanking us. And it is as easy as open up account, a Roth, especially if you're going to go from scratch. Open up a Roth IRA, put $5,000 or $1,000 in there. Do your wholesale deal. Turn that $1,000 or $5,000, $10,000 or $15,000 in a Roth. You don't pay any taxes on the gains and no taxes when it comes out. Everyone's got to do it.
Now, some people are going to ask, what is the age that I can actually pull that out and I wouldn't, have to pay any type of penalties or fees on that?
The age is 59 and a half.
Okay.
So at 59 and a half, you can start taking You can take distributions. And one thing that I'd say also is, if you do a self-directed 401k with us, which you can do as well, you can actually borrow out of it at any time 50% or $50,000, whichever is lesser. So if let's say you got a $30,000 401k with us, you could borrow up to 15,000, half of that amount. And so that's also nice. So if you did, need it for anything, you could use it for that as well.
Gotcha. And, let's kind of talk about this here for a second, Greg. Like, you got started and you really were trying to find a way to find money, because just like myself, when I was getting started in this business, nobody was going to lend a dime to me, because this was end of 2007. November was like the big news that hit. All the banks were in huge trouble, and nobody was going to lend. It was probably the worst time to try and get a purchase done, a refinance done. Like, the underwriters did not know what to do. Everything was tightened from a guidelines perspective. But you started going out finding money this way compared to other folks that just want to find individuals that have liquidity, maybe like in a bank account or something like that. This way, in my opinion, like you said, there's so many more people out there that have these accounts, but they're not utilizing them. They're not utilizing them to their fullest. So let's kind of talk about that. Let's kind of talk about, like, how can we start using or finding folks that may have self-directed IRAs, but they don't know how to use the self-directed IRA. Like, maybe we want to find money to use for deals. Like, what would be like a good strategy in your opinion for finding folks like this?
Well, I'll tell you exactly what I did, and still sometimes do. But first, if you think about it, if there's over 80 million people with IRAs, that doesn't include 401ks.
Oh, wow.
Pretty much a third of the people have an IRA. Okay, so every time you're in a room with 3 to 4 people, one of them has an IRA, if not more. Okay, so all of a sudden they're your potential bankers. So start there, and then one thing that I also learned when I was trying to find money is I did it the hard way, like everyone else, I think, in the beginning, which is I found a deal, or I understood the concept of flipping, and I'd go to friends or family or whoever, right, acquaintances, and say, hey, here's a real estate deal. Here's what I'm doing. I'm going to pay you 10% on your money or 12% on your money. Well, little did I know that was totally the wrong way of doing it, if you think about it. Everybody that I talk to, even to this day, they all think they're real estate experts. The whole country thinks they're real estate experts. Why? Because they bought a house once. Why? Because their parents bought a house. And so everyone that we know has been hit up on either real estate or an investment opportunity.
Oh, yeah.
So when I was trying to find money, I was like, what do I say? And going back, Jason, to what you said, how do you go out and talk and raise money this way? I took my presentation, if you want to call it that, or my elevator pitch off of the real estate subject. And I began, and I didn't own the trust company back then. I've only owned it for half my career. So how I built my business was I became a self-directed IRA expert, believe it or not.
Okay.
I wasn't a real estate expert. Even though I was a real estate expert, that's not what I'd go tell people. I was a 24-year-old real estate expert. Yeah, right. Everyone that had an IRA around me had owned homes, and I hadn't, really.
Right.
Okay, so what could I do to pique their interest? What could I do to get them to believe in me and give me their money, right? That was so I became an IRA expert. I learned, understood the self-directed IRA space, and I would go out and I would actually ask questions. I'd say things like this, because people would ask me, what am I doing? Or what do you plan on doing? I'm like, I actually learned this new concept. I'm doing real estate, but let me tell you how it's kind of different how I'm doing real estate. Did you know that you could actually use your IRA funds in real estate projects? Not meaning like a mutual fund, but like, you can actually flip a home with your IRA and keep the profits, or lend your money. I would ask those kind of questions about what you can do with your IRA, not about a specific deal. And I'd ask those questions. Do you know you could do this? And I start teaching and asking people questions about their IRA. What kind of rate of return are you getting? Are you happy with it?
Yeah. Those
kind of questions. They would then tell me the rate of interest they're making. And so therefore I knew what was important to them. If they're making 15% on their money from their advisor, and I offered them 10 or 12 like I originally was going to, you think they're going to switch? No. So ask questions. And so, but the reverse is true also. Besides this last year, in the last 10 years, the stock market has not been good, right? It's been flat. It's been not great. This last year has been good, right? So 1 out of 10 years. But in general, if you take a 3 or 5 year window, I'd say, what kind of interest rate are you getting? And they're going to tell me they're making negative money or maybe 4, 5, 6%, but not 10.
Right.
So they're telling me the interest rate that they're making, and I ask them if they're happy with it. Now I've just figured out what is important to them, and now I really pitch the self-directed IRA. I actually pitch the self-directed IRA, and I get them to open up an account with a company like ours, Horizon Trust, and get the money there before I even find the deal. So now the money's there, or part of the money's there. So now, in some of their minds, the investors thought, because I did such a good job teaching them about self-directed IRA, I really did. I was careful about not telling them they're going to do my deal. You should do this. And in everyone's mind, as you teach them something, they think that they can go and actually flip homes or land money in real estate or whatever. Right. So they get their money to move over to the trust company. And then I find out it's there because we're talking about it. And then I call and say, hey, no, I got actually a deal that came up you might be interested in. And all of a sudden, they're thinking, you know what? I'm too busy. I can't go flip a home right now. I can't do this. But the money's there now.
Yeah.
So then I ask, hey, check out this deal. Do you want to do part of it or all of it? And then they do it over and over and over again. They became my best resource for funding deals. So IRAs and teaching people about IRAs was definitely critical for me in finding money. But that's how I found it. I started with self-directing. I started with the concept that would pique an interest, just like an elevator pitch, right? What is something you can say to somebody that would make them ask more questions?
Right.
Or I want to hear more. If you say you do real estate and you're an elevator, they're not going to ask you, okay, cool, are you a realtor? No, I'm a flipper. Okay, cool, whatever. But if you're able to like tell someone something different, teach them something that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's how I got people intrigued to actually lending me money in real estate.
No, that's awesome too. And you're also one of the things that, you were doing too there is you're building the relationship, because correct me if I'm wrong, you have to have a certain period of time before you can ask for funds, according to the SEC. Is that right, Greg? Like you have to, I know it's a fine line. I know neither of us are attorneys or anything like that, but you might have more knowledge on that than me.
Look, it is a fine line. And so you're right. It's good you brought this up. You can't go out and do what I just did and solicit people. I can't go out and advertise and be like, hey, I don't know you, but here's a cool concept, invest in my deals. Now, I can go out and advertise and say you should self-direct your funds, but when you start pitching investment opportunities and soliciting money for your and people you don't know, that's when there's SEC issues. But you can be a private lender. Like Jason, I could talk to you and say, hey, self-direct and fund my deal.
Yeah.
Excuse me. There's no security breach. You're fine with the SEC.
Right.
It's when you start massing and soliciting to people you don't know.
Right. And one of the things I got away from from what you said is you weren't doing that. You were actually talking about, the different types of things that you can do. I didn't see anything that in your conversations that you did a long time ago, I didn't see anything wrong there. I just see like folks, like I see a lot of folks, like we just had a seminar not too long ago, and on the guy's card, on the back of the card, he was saying how he can guarantee like certain amount of rate of returns on his cards. And I'm like, dude, that's not good. You need to get rid of those cards immediately. So just going right away in for the kill, like, hey, I lend me money on this deal. I like Greg was just saying, like that's something that, wouldn't be something we would encourage. Obviously talk to an attorney about that, but Greg brings up some really valid points on what to talk about to folks. And I really like that, Greg. I like you being candid and open about that. So what's kind of like the thing that you see like in today's market, like why should folks, get into a self-directed IRA or a 401k? Like what's, I know what it is because when I was with Countrywide, Our stock price was at $43, and then they came out with the bad news, and I had, several $100,000 in there, and it went down to $13 overnight. So you kind of lose the control when you're with, a company, but when you go and you have it on your own, it's yours. You can do whatever you want with it, right?
Yep. So, I mean, that's the art of a self-directed IRA is you can do what you want with it. But why should somebody do it? I mean, first of all, it's a vehicle that the IRS has approved a long time ago that is a way to avoid paying taxes on investments. But most importantly, no one cares more about your money than you do. I don't care more about your money than you do. And the only time your financial advisor calls you, if he calls you, I'll ask this typically in events. When's the last time he called you about a cool deal? Like, hey, Jason, I'm calling you because I got this great hot stock tip. When's the last time you got that phone call? You didn't.
Right.
You don't get it. In fact, if you have $1 million, you still don't get it. But that's for like the big institutional 10, 15, $20 million kind of clients. They might get that phone call. But where I'm going with that is you care more about your money than you do. Your advisor, he's doing it because every time you invest more, he gets a bigger fee. When you invest in your own deals, you're in control. You call the shots. So it's not for everybody. That's the other thing. Some of you don't have the time and energy, and you're okay with someone else kind of investing your money and going with that whole plan of like invest it and someday I'll have $1 million in there and a hypothetical this and that. If you have 30 minutes a month, what is that math? 6 hours a year.
Yep.
A year to spend on your financial plan, then you should self-direct. Because guess what? No one else is spending 6 hours. When I say no one, very few people are. And so if you can spend a little time on it, make your own investments, there's many different opportunities out there. Test it. Compete against your financial advisor. Do half with him and half on your own. See how you do.
Yeah.
So not only do I believe you do a better rate of return, the fees are better too. Like with our company, it's less than 1%. It's between 50 and 70 basis points. So it's like between 1/2 of a point and 3/4 of a point per year. And so when you're with an advisor, as much as they like to say there's no fees and loads and everything else, there is. Just pull up your financial statement, go to Google Finance, type in the symbol, and you'll be able to see what your fund manager is making and what the fees are. You're paying anywhere from 1% to 3% per year to have someone manage your money.
Yep.
So you save in fees, you get a little better rate of return. And my goal is just to make an extra 2 or 3% more per year. An extra 2 or 3% more per year. If that's savings on fees and or investing, that's hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars difference over a 20-year period.
It absolutely is. And for folks that are wanting to get started, let's kind of talk about this too, because the maximum that you can put in per year, I believe, I'm not 100%, but it's $5,500 per year that you can put into your account. Is that still accurate?
Yeah, I mean, there's the long answer, which I'm going to have to give you a little bit, is it depends on what kind of retirement account you set up with us.
Okay.
And so you actually could open up a self-directed 401k with us with a Roth bucket and put up to over $50,000.
Oh wow.
Or a simple or a SEP, you can put more than $5,500 or $6,500 for if you're older than 50. So it really depends on the type of account and your age. But yes, in general, what most people will read is, if you're less than 50, it's $5,500 or it's $6,500 if it's older than 50.
Okay. So that makes sense. And folks can get started with that, relatively very easily. It doesn't take long at all, and it just helps out with expanding and growing. From a wealth standpoint, because most folks, it's really sad. They don't plan for the long haul, and that's where most folks they drop off, and they don't have that money when they want to retire. And most folks at 59 and a half, that they're still going to be working until they're in their mid 70s, unfortunately. Yep. And they're not going to be able to retire when you're supposed to. And it's, most folks depend on Social Security and all that kind of stuff too. Again, that's out of your control. What if we don't have Social Security, Greg, when we want to retire? Because we're still, young guys here. We still have quite a while. What if that Social Security is no longer there? And what? Oh my gosh, we lost government assistance for our retirement. We paid all this money into it, but it's gone. So you have to be in control of your own destiny, your own wealth.
Yeah.
So with that being said, Greg, let's kind of talk about Horizon Trust here and some of the things that you guys can do to really help folks, because I know you guys educate quite a bit. Like, you've come out to our Indianapolis Real Estate Investors Association actually a couple times, and I believe we're going to try and get you out to come in September of 2018 here. But let's kind of talk about some of the things that you guys do, because your company stands out in my eyes in front of a lot of these other trust companies.
So, well, thank you. I appreciate it, Jason.
Sure.
And it's always nice to go somewhere where they like having you. So that's why I like going out there. So you want me to just specifically explain what about Horizon, like the process?
Yeah, like say for instance somebody wants to get set up with an Horizon Trust account right now. What's something that somebody can do to get that done?
So the easy answer is we do a one-on-one call with you, and so we have account open team here. They spend about 15 minutes with you to identify what kind of account is best for you if you're doing it from scratch, or if you have one you want to roll over, you can roll it over, and then we fill out the paperwork for you over the phone, and then we actually will mail or scan you the application. So it's all filled out. All you gotta do is sign it and fill in like the beneficiary information. So the actual account application process, we try to do it over the phone. You can do it on our website. All the forms are there, but we just try to walk through it real quick over 15 minutes, get the application filled out, pick out the right kind of account for you, and then if you're opening up from scratch from the beginning, you'll write a check out and fund your IRA account. The other way of funding your account is a transfer or rollover, which is moving funds from a current account, let's say Fidelity, Charles Schwab, Morgan Stanley, whatever, and you move it over, and we do a transfer. And so let's say you have $100,000 somewhere, you can move all or a portion of it to Horizon Trust tax-free. So actually, the wire or check is actually sent from Fidelity directly to Horizon Trust. It doesn't have to go through your hands. And so it's a simple process. We handle it from A to Z, and then we update you as the money arrives. Once the money arrives, then we have this form on our website called the Direction to Invest form. And so that form is one that you submit when you have identified where you want to move your money to, when you're ready to invest those funds. Moving it to the trust company just gets it there in preparation for you to choose where you're going to invest.
Okay.
It's a very simple process. A lot of companies do a bad job of the onboarding because they tell the clients to go to the website and fill out the forms. And there's just, if you're not familiar with the forms, it could take a little more time and you might do it incorrectly. So we walk you through it.
So why a self-directed IRA or 401k over anything else from a retirement standpoint, from your point of view, from doing this for as long as you have, with all the deals that you've done? Like, why should somebody do that in your opinion?
Because it gives you complete flexibility and control of your money. That's why you should do it. And the best way of understanding that is by doing it, by using it. And if you're concerned or afraid, then just do a portion of your funds. Start. Just do a little bit and see how it goes. But if you're looking for control and flexibility, it is the right way of investing in your retirement funds.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. And I know we're still kind of like in the beginning of the year so far. What do you think, Greg, right now? You're a real estate investor. You've got a huge pulse on what's going on in the marketplace. What do you think, like, State of the Union wise for 2018? What does it look like for you? Do you think foreclosures are on the rise? Do you think people are putting more money into turnkey rentals? Like, what do you kind of see? Because you get to deal with a lot of folks, a lot. What do you kind of think of the State of the Union looks like right now?
If I knew perfectly, I'd be even better off. But,
right.
Obviously, I won't give you my assumption opinion, but I also will preface by I'd be remiss if I didn't bring this up earlier when you said you took that guy's business card away from him. he used the most dangerous word, which is guaranteed, which is a word I don't ever use. And so, there is no guarantee, but it's kind of on that note with your question. I don't see the foreclosures on the rise. I do see the market being a little more flat as far as in the future, at least for the next, in my opinion, 12 months, maybe even 24 months, where it's not going to go. You're going to have to create your value. You're not going to buy and it's going to appreciate like it. The last few years have been good. It's the market's good. All businesses are good. The stock market's good. I've been through 2007 like almost everybody else, and so when everything's good and everyone's business is great, it makes me a little nervous. So that my pulse is based upon my gut and based upon what I see a little bit, not based upon an analysis of where of any particular demographic or city. But everything's good and has been good for a while. And so if you can, but there's always opportunity. I can tell you, I made money every year in real estate, even when the market was crashing 3% per month in appreciation. I made money.
Yeah.
So you still can do it, but I would just be more careful about it. That's all.
No, that's some great advice, man. And before we wrap it up with how folks can get a hold of you, let me ask you this, because I know you're one of the smarter guys I know out there. What is a really good business motivation type book that you would recommend that you've maybe read within the last 1 to 2 years? What would be a good book that you'd recommend?
Well, what would be one that I've in the last couple of years? I mean, I like this Richard Branson's book. He's in a couple books, but his book here, Business Trip There. I mean, what I love about Richard Branson is obviously his tenacity and his just hunger for business and the culture he creates. And I meet so many dreamers, and I don't want to hate on that because I'm a dreamer too. But I don't mean to be a dream crusher, but there's so many people out there that have this new innovative idea that they're going to come out with, and it's going to change whatever. And I'm kind of with Richard on this, where I'm not big into that. Sure, I might dabble in some fun things like that, but he's done this. You saw even with the airline industry, he takes something that's working and makes it better. Mm-hmm. And so that would be the advice I give today, and that I think of now is look, take something that's working, make it a little bit better. And there's an opportunity there. I mean, right? If you've flown Virgin, when you check in there, it smells better. There's nice music when you're checking in. They all show up in the clean, similar clothes. They don't show up kind of whenever like these other airlines. There's a stewardess, there's the pilot. They got their crap together, man. And so just take whatever you're doing and make it a little bit better. Don't go try to reinvent the wheel.
No, I love that, because that also it's kind of almost like what Ray Kroc did with the McDonald's brand. How he saw the vision and wanted to scale it from one store to, gosh, they're just a global phenomenon now. But just think about what he did with that industry. It's crazy. I don't want to say hate, but when folks try and reinvent the wheel and make it harder than it needs to be, is when they don't see the results they want. When there's already been a proven path for pretty much anything in life, but most people want to go down this other path that they think they need to go down. But no, awesome recommendation there, Greg. If people want to get a hold of you, man, they want to set up a self-directed IRA account, which I highly recommend. Greg gets a full endorsement. I highly encourage you. We've sent millions of dollars over to him from other folks that we've referred over to Greg's company. So I fully trust him. We've had nothing but rave reviews from our folks here at the Indiana Real Estate Investors Association. So Greg, can you kind of share with people how they can get a hold of you so that they can get an account set up?
Yeah, two ways. You can go to, I'll give you just two different websites. If you go to horizontrust.com, if you go to just there at our website, that's probably the best way. Or contact me, my website, gregherlean.com, GregHerlean.com. If you could go there, I'll send you a gift as well. My book, I'll send to you in an email format. So either or, my website or the company website, horizontrust.com, and then we'll get back to you. Our phone numbers are on there. You can, obviously reach out to us, and we'd love to help you. We really would.
Yeah, and again, just to go and say something about them, we've dealt with a lot of trust companies over the years, and whenever we've dealt with people that have a Horizon Trust account to do funding for any of our deals, we've had the least amount of issues with getting funds deployed for a deal. We've ran across several issues with other companies. I'm not going to name those companies, but whenever we've dealt with Horizon, the funds they're done. It's very, very simple process. That's why I wanted to bring Greg on here, is because his company is a no nonsense company. They do this business, and that's what I love about them. They're doing this stuff, so they understand. Things need to get done quickly. But the other thing too is the communication is just out of this world. His team is just always on top of it. So, Greg, I appreciate you being on the show today, my man. You've definitely given some great insights here. Is there any final words that you would like to leave with here for our listeners?
Well, thank you, Jason, as well. I guess my words of advice are: the time is now. You got to do it now. And then when I say now, I also, in the same breath, I'd like to say, just from a personal standpoint, be more present in your conversations. The more that you're present, put your cell phone away, and you actually build relationships with people, true relationships. You look them in the eyes, you don't get distracted by the phone. You will be a happier and more successful business person. And you get to know someone better, you'll raise more money, you'll find more deals, you'll have a better relationship with your other half or with your kids. So my last piece of advice is be present.
Oh man, I love that. Yeah. I love when I'm talking to somebody and they actually can look you back in the face when you're talking to them. They're not just, face deep in their phone, texting or emailing. So yeah, I love that, man. Be present in the day. So awesome stuff, Greg. If any of you out there have any questions, you want to reach out to us, make sure horizontrust.com, gregherlean.com. We'll have that in the show notes. And also, if you need anything from us with the No Flipping Excuses Show team, we're at 317-900-1307, or you can reach out to us at support@jasonluchese.com. But if you've enjoyed this episode, make sure you become a subscriber and leave us a 5-star review, or else Greg is going to get really, really mad, because look at that coat right there. It's a phenomenal coat. I'm going to have to go get one myself. Greg's always got his clothes game on point. Man, it's crazy. But other than that, you guys have a great, great day. Hope you enjoyed the show. Let us know if you need anything. But go out there, make it happen, get the results you desire. We'll see you on the next show, my friend. Take care. Bye now.
Thanks for listening. For show notes and links to anything discussed on today's program, visit noflippingexcuses.com. If you'd like to call the show, dial 317-900-1307, 24/7. Leave a message with your first name and where you're calling from, and include your question, comment, or concern. Who knows? You might end up on the air with Jason Lucchese. If you like the show, be sure to subscribe on iTunes or Stitcher. The links are posted at noflippingexcuses.com. Remember, you can close more deals now, make your own rules, and design and live an amazing life without having some jerk-off boss tell you what to do. Share noflippingexcuses.com with like-minded people you know who are ready for badassery, crushing it in real estate, and enjoying freedom to whatever you like, whenever you like it.